People kicked out and structural supports added to Vicinity apartments. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee because we have an update on what's happening at Vicinity Apartments in Sydney. And if we jump over here, we see we last spoke about this 10 months ago. Oh no, hang on a bit. We first spoke about this 10 months ago in October 2021. And then there was some engineering updates and a few conflicts between, well, the apartment owner's engineer and the actual engineer of the builder. So it's a bit of back and forth here, and yeah, guys, this is a mess. So if we jump over here, we can see with the good old triangle of fail that we have here in the mascot sugar cubes, but Vicinity was over here. We have a look here. We can zoom in. Let's jump and look at it to get used to it again. Right on the train line. I didn't want to do that. Let's get street view here. Come on. There we go. And we can see the footpath. I don't want the bloody hell. Come on, Google. What is this? There we go. So here we have it. There you can see the apartments. It's all the same, isn't it? These things are huge. They really are. Why do people, I know why, but you're always competing with everyone else when you buy these things, when they have to sell. I mean, there you go. And structural issues in something like this is gonna be much worse than a spec home, because you've got to deal with a whole bunch of other people in regards to this. So let's have a look at what's been said here, because it looks like there's additional cracking, and 7 users have reported on it, so they're going to have to put more of these supports in apartments further up, not just in the car park. Oh boy. And the cost to rectify these things, it's big, okay? So structural supports put in apartment tower to ensure safety. A Sydney apartment tower has had temporary support columns installed to ensure the safety of hundreds of residents 10 months after an engineer raised serious concerns about its structural integrity. Unit owners in the 10-storey building in Canterbury have taken out a loan to pay for the backpropping work after developer Top Place and its experts disagreed that it was needed. So this is the problem. You can have two engineers arguing over these things. Who do you default to? Who's correct? I was talking to someone about this actually this morning, where I'd had one engineer and they were arguing with another engineer, and you think it's all there's certain ways to interpret things. You think it's all mathematics and perfect, but 2 structural columns have been eradicated on 2 levels of the basement car park, and owners have been warned that more have been erected. 2 temporary structural, hopefully, well, no, they're not temporary now, are they? Look at, they've been here 10 months. The 2 columns already cost $50,000 to install, and owners will have to pay at least $135,000 a year to keep them in place. I mean, couldn't you build a new permanent column in there? Surely that'd be cheaper than this. The work to ensure what the strata manager described as a preventative approach to the structural integrity of the tower follows inspections by the state's building watchdog, government engineers, as well as experts acting for the owners, who reached a consensus that it was needed. Apartment owner Patrick Quintal said the installation of the support columns confirmed in his mind there was a structural problem with the building, which is about 100 units near the banks of the Cooks River. What has happened here is shocking. Every day we have to come back into a place that is effectively broken, and no one is going to fix it except for the owners who can't afford to. This is the thing, the owners, you're stuck with it. You're buying into a building like this, that's the risk you're taking. What if the builder went bust? What if they lost all their own money? Then you're stuck with fixing it, regardless, even if they were liable for it. So that's... buyer beware, guys. Buyer beware. This is why you don't buy off the plan. This is why you don't buy off the plan, particularly in Australia at the moment with our apartments and with just the insane overheating we've had in the last 5 years or decade of construction in Sydney. It's just gone nuts. The tower is in a complex known as Vicinity and has 276 apartments over 3 buildings and was completed 7 years ago by Two Place. A structural engineer hired by owners warned last October that the tower, known as Building C, was at serious risk of collapse, which, if it occurred, would lead to catastrophic damage to the 2 other apartment buildings in the complex. So, if you're in Building C, is it this one or whichever one it is, or if you're not in Building C, you still have to cop the cost of holding up that other building, don't you? Oh, boy. It sparked an emergency inspection by government engineers, including the state's chief emergency engineer. While they found no immediate safety risk to residents, they recommended that monitoring focus on a so-called transfer structure which shifts loads to other parts of the tower. Apartment owner Corey Ford said she was infuriated at the length of time it has taken to put the back propping in, given the structural engineer had raised concerns about the building last year. In the background, wait, has this stuff just been put in? Has this just been put in that we're seeing here? No. Didn't they do this last year? I thought they did. I swear they did, didn't they? Hang on. Shit. Okay, has it taken that long? That it wouldn't take long to get a few props in. In the background, there seems to have been some acknowledgement that there might be a safety issue with the building and that the back propping has been put in place to ensure the safety of residents, she said. Bright and Dagan, which was appointed compulsory strata manager by a tribunal, said the owner's corporation had decided to take a precautionary approach and install the temporary columns. We're not taking risks. We believe it is the developer's responsibility. Two Place is ultimately the party that is responsible for the quality of the building, Managing Director Chris Duggan said. Yeah, but if it's a fight between engineers, who's right? Who's right? We're not going to wait for them to do it. We will attempt to get the cost back for the temporary propping. Yeah, you're going to have to sue them. You're going to have to take them to court to try and get it back. The owner's corporation will seek to recover the costs of the temporary columns as part of legal action that is underway against Two Place in the New South Wales Supreme Court over alleged defects in the building. Two Place said an independent engineer who has modelled the structural adequacy of the building has not identified any need for immediate safety measures to be undertaken. Can you ensure that what's been built is what's been modelled? It's a tough game at the moment, construction. It really is. It really is. The developer said New South Wales Public Works Advisory, which inspected the building on August 1, could not identify cracks or other evidence that an engineer hired by the owner had observed. Two Place said it had undertaken ground-penetrating radar scanning of columns a day later, and the independent engineers that it had hired concluded that allegations about the need for immediate safety works to secure the building were incorrect. Okay, so well, there you go. I mean, who's right or not? In April, the state's building watchdog ordered Two Place to conduct rectification works after finding a serious defect in the construction of load-bearing walls in the building's basement car park. At the time, it was the second order issued to Two Place in 3 months to fix defects in the tower. So let's have a talk about this. Now, I think, well, a lot of the issues I would argue we have in the construction sector at the moment, particularly in multi-res, is the method of procurement, where you have design and construction contracts. Often you'll have a team engaged at the beginning of a job to design a concept, and then they will be novated to work under the builder. So you'll go from the client being the developer to the builder. And you should not communicate anymore with the client, with the developer. The builder's your client, so all communication has to flow through them, all direction comes from them. There can be a situation where the builder can instruct you to, or insist on doing something that is dodgy, illegal, or corner cutting, or something you don't think is appropriate. All you can do is raise that with them. You can't, technically under the contract, you can't communicate back to the original client because then you're in breach. It can get really messy. And what if you're doing a lot of design and construct work where you're just working with builder after builder after builder? If you make them unhappy, you could lose a client with a lot of potential work feeding into your firm. There's a potential conflict of interest there. So this is the problem, guys. This is the, I don't know if any apartments anymore are even procured using a traditional method, where you've got the client, the developer underneath them, the design team, the builder, and then an impartial body in between the two to manage the process. So that can get really messy. And then we've got, well, an overheated market when a lot of this stuff was built. And hey, what do we have now? What has the government done just recently now to the housing sector? Overheated it by a lot. Now I'm hoping we won't see the same type of things manifest in residential spec homes, little two-story places. Sure, you're going to have some defects. Sure, there'll be articles in the current affair, 50 grand in foundation issues, some of that. But that's nothing, honestly, compared to this. This is a bloody nightmare. It's going to be a protracted legal fight between the two parties. They may not even need the columns, but, you've got to think there are other defects in there. Would you risk it? If your building could potentially go down, would you risk it? So, guys, we just have to keep an eye on this sector. This is just don't buy off the plan, okay? Don't buy off the plan. Wait for the thing to be bloody built, finished. Go and look at it. See if you can see the concrete rot. See if you can see cracks everywhere. Look at the bloody building. And look at the, I wonder if I'll bring that up here. I don't know if I can. Look at the Google reviews, everyone. The Google reviews for the building. Because that's how I found out all of this stuff for Mascot Towers. All of the issues here with Mascot, a lot of them were identified in Google reviews of people living there. Water dripping onto my car, paint coming off, cracking everywhere, years before the issues manifested and got to that point where people had to evacuate the building. Here we go. What do Two Place have to say? Oh, this is their reviews. Let's have a look. Let's go to the lowest. There was more exciting. Okay. Take a look at these photos of one of the units in Botany. That's all I need to say. Okay, this is about the builder. Let's have a look. I mean, how are they going? Are they getting all the flooring right? What do we have? A few defects. Yeah, I mean, you get what you pay for, hey? Poor quality finishes, dirty and even damaged fixings, sharp broken tile pieces left under carpet. Astral building quality, yeah, okay. So, I mean, here you go. They're responding to them all. Where is Vicinity Apartments? Maybe we can't do it. No, it doesn't look like it has a Google Place thing. Or I can't find it. I can't find it. What's this one? Well, if you can, I recommend checking that out, guys. What do we have here? Okay, real estate sales. 500 grand for a new development. Buy off the plan. I mean, the renders look nice. Yeah, they always look nice. Good job to creating the visuals. But does that, well, that's the reality. Can I zoom out? That's the render. You can't, it's not, you're not really getting that view there, are you? What do you reckon, everyone? How close do you think they got to the render? Yeah, not bad. Pretty good. Anyway, that's one thing I'd suggest you look at when you're shopping around for places to buy or even to rent or to invest in. Just, dig around a little bit. But here we go, another continuation of the construction issues we're seeing in apartments in Sydney. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. I want to draw your attention to two other channels, HeiseBIM and HeiseSays International. HeiseBIM, I discuss tools and programs I use as an architect. HeiseSays International, I discuss international news. You can support the channel financially via YouTube or Patreon. Use our referral links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. Buy a Pocket Squares or call us if you need an architect. Take care, everyone. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. You gotta feel sorry for these people in these apartments in Sydney. They weren't cheap. They would have paid a shitload for them too.